Greetings, I'm Robert.
And I'm Josh.
And this is how we start the videos for sentient creatures viewing us on the internet.
That's right.
We're from Central Music,
Right
and
there.
we'd like to have a conversation with you.
Yes.
What's on your mind?
I'm thinking of a lot of stuff today. Music-y stuff.
You know what I was thinking about?
What's that?
The fact that it's a warm winter.
Oh, yeah?
I'm very concerned about, like, the Yeti.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, we know where Johnny Polar Bear is, and we're very concerned about them,
That's true.
right? Just the ice is melting and whatnot, but the Yeti, who's looking out for them and their habitat?
Right? I don't know.
It's like they could completely go extinct and we would never know.
Oh, that's terrible.
Almost like they were never there in the first place.
Man, that's tough to think about.
I don't want to be depressing. Let's talk about music. And both you and I spent a lot of time at schools in the last couple weeks, right?
Always.
Helping different groups prepare for their band and orchestra festivals.
Yes.
And I heard one phrase repeated over and over and over. Can you guess what that is?
Play this more musically.
Like we rehearsed it. So, yes, and in the context of these kind of push through it clinic style rehearsals, I don't know that we spend the time actually explaining what we mean by play more musically.
Right. I think
Right?
Yeah, we definitely don't.
And it's something that's really different. It's really difficult to quantify because it's not the notes and the rhythms and the dynamics that are written on the page.
Oh, right. For sure. For sure. I think part of the reason it's so difficult to frame like a musical performance is because, for one, it's different for who you ask, and it's also like something that's very hard to quantify. Like, just imagine trying to teach like an AI like a phrase and how to play that phrase musically.
Hard to do.
Let's just say like it's a lyrical phrase, so you're gonna have lighter articulation. You have a dotted half note. What rate of vibrato do you use? If you're building tension, do you increase that rate of vibrato while you increase the dynamic level? Maybe the articulation on the note following that note is a little heavier to continue to emphasize that. Like, that's just one measure of, an 8-bar phrase.
Like 2 notes.
To go through.
You're going to need some chips.
Yeah,
Invest in
better,
NVIDIA
smarter
today.
chips. And obviously you can't explain every single nuance in the context of a classroom, really, because you'd run out of time. You spend all your time on one phrase of music.
You bring up something interesting, and that is, do we learn to be more musical by dissecting the music more, like your explanation?
Right.
Or is the key to it to listen in,
Right.
to music? And, there's this old saying, so I don't know what a musical performance is, but I know it when I hear it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. I think you can learn it both ways, but I think it's a lot easier to learn it by listening deeply to others.
Yes, and I would say both in the context of exposing yourself to a lot of different performances and getting
A broad palette.
of what's happening out there, absolutely, but also within your own ensemble.
Yes.
Really listening deeply into the ensemble and understanding what role everyone is playing and where you fit in with those roles.
For sure, because it's definitely easier to play like a solo in a very musical way than it is to sit and play a section and interpret something musically, because everyone has to be on the same page. But you listen deeply, you find good example players that you like, that play in a way that you'd like to play, and you listen to your section leaders.
And there's also this individual up in front of the ensemble that's flapping their arms around a little bit too. Like they're giving you clues.
Yeah,
They're
definitely.
giving you some clues to try to draw that music out of
sure.
the ensemble, right?
That's why they're there.
I think, listen, when you're performing, if you're thinking about performing musically, you're already halfway home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And while it's hard to define, what I would say is this. I have seen some technically flawless performances, lots of notes, complicated rhythms, crazy dynamics, right? That weren't necessarily musical to me.
Right. Yeah.
Because they didn't make me feel anything.
True.
And I've seen America the Beautiful perform, which is a fairly simple song, and under the right circumstances, it's been very moving.
Right.
Right? And that may be the target that we're looking to hit when we talk about having a musical performance.
Right. And Robert, do you think you can play a very musical performance if you're still worried about your notes and rhythms and key signatures, entrances?
No, this is all things that happen beyond the technical portions of your music, notes, rhythms, whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to get into these nuances if you're like, oh, I'm really.
I don't know when my next entrance is.
So,
is it on beat 2? What beat are we on?
Where am I?
It's been known to happen. Reminds me of that time you were out looking for a Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You didn't know where you were?
I didn't get home for 3 days. I did get home, though.
If you'd like to hear that story, let us know in the comments. As always, we really appreciate you taking the time to share a conversation with us. If you liked what you saw here, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Have a great day.
He's bossy.
You better, though.